school will be closed for the next 2 weeks. I can still vividly remember driving home from my grandparents' house the weekend of St. Patrick's Day 2020 when my mom received a text message from the Litchfield School District stating that school will be closed for the next 2 weeks. My first reaction was excitement because we didn't have school for 2 weeks, but little did I know that 2 weeks would turn into the rest of my 7th grade year and most of my 8th grade year. Although this was an extremely negative experience which negatively impacted many people's lives, I did gain some positive things from this. During the spring and summer of 2020, when I was stuck at home, I was at my best. E-learning went by in a blur. Day after day, we were all stuck at home in front of computer screens and Zoom calls, doing online school. And although the days were very boring and were very repetitive, there were some positive things from this. Because school only took a couple of hours, we had lots of free time. So in my free time, I was able to try many new things and many new activities. So for a while, I was really into making new recipes. I really liked baking, cupcakes, and trying new drinks, which was a lot of fun. But I also started weightlifting in this time. I have an at-home gym, so I decided to take advantage of that, and I started weightlifting with my dad, who really likes health and fitness. So I started doing his workouts, and I ended up really enjoying weightlifting, and I still really like that weightlifting. It was very satisfying for me seeing how my hard work paid off, and I never really found any sort of sport or physical activity which I really enjoyed, but I finally found something that I really enjoyed and still do to this day. So not only did I pick up on weightlifting, but I also started painting. I always liked art, but I would never consider myself an artsy person. But in this time, because of all my free time, I decided to start painting. So I would spend hours just painting and listening to true crime podcasts, and I turned my e-learning table into my painting table, and it has been that way ever since. And I still truly enjoy it, and it's a good stress reliever for me. In this time, I also started crocheting. My grandma really enjoys crocheting, so I was able to borrow some of her crocheting supplies, and I never would have tried that before because it's very time consuming, but I really enjoyed that in that time. In this time, I also was able to spend a lot more time with my family. Previously, I didn't spend a whole lot of time with my family, just with school and activities, but because my mom is a school social worker, she was working from home, so I was able to spend a lot of time with her. And my dad has fairly limited hours as a chiropractor. He doesn't work in the morning, so I was able to spend a lot of time with them. In this time, my family also got chickens, which was a lot of fun, and I really like my chickens still. So once online school had ended, I now had full days to myself. Typically in the summer, I would spend my time playing softball, going camping, spending time with friends and family, hiking, going on walks. I would typically go on a big Itasca camping trip with my dad's extended family, but all of this was canceled due to COVID. Although this was negative, I was able to instead spend my days doing relaxing things which I enjoyed. I would spend my days outside tanning in the sun, swimming, reading, listening to podcasts, painting, going on long walks with my parents, working out, and I would watch a movie pretty much every night. Although this may sound boring to many of you, this was very fulfilling for me. I previously in middle school had a hard time relaxing and getting out of my head, and I was just a very anxious person. But I finally had time to relax and come to myself and learn things that I enjoyed doing, which still benefits me to this day. And ever since then, I just grew into myself a bit more and got to know myself better. So later in the summer, in the month of August, my cousin was planning on getting married in the Black Hills. For the longest time, I assumed that this would get canceled, but nothing shut down in South Dakota because it's South Dakota. So I was able to go to my cousin's wedding still, and my family rented a big cabin up in the Black Hills, and I was able to spend a lot of time with my family who I hadn't seen in months. And it was just a really good way to finish off the summer, especially since we've been stuck at home for the past 6 months. And I was able to spend a lot of quality time, and it was very nice. During the spring and summer of 2020, when I was stuck at home, I became the best version of myself. What people define as being at their best varies from person to person. Some may feel at their best once they've achieved financial stability or reached a certain goal. But for myself, I feel at my best once I am my happiest and healthiest version of myself mentally and physically. During that summer, I grew to appreciate the small things in life, and I still strive to be like that. Thank you for listening.